we get to reprise our characters in a Disney animated feature. We didn't think that was in the cards at all. I know I didn't. It was a total shock. I love that picture.
Welcome, friends and fans, to another episode of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. We hope you're all having a wonderful holiday season, and today we hope to continue that spirit because we are going under the sea through a poor provincial town and along the way discover a whole new world with the voices of 3 Disney princesses. So without further ado, let's wish upon a star and bring out today's royalty. Our first guest is an actress and singer whose body of work includes The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Camp Lazlo, and the highly undervalued series The Pirates of Darkwater. Today, she joins us as the voice of Princess Ariel and the Little Mermaid. Please welcome back the always delightful Jodie Benson.
Hey, everybody. Happy New Year.
Hey.
Good to see you, Patty. How are you?
I am so well. Good to see you again. Thank you for joining us again. Our last conversation was so wonderful. Yeah. And so glad to have you back.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here with my sweet, sweet friends.
Absolutely. And speaking of, let's bring out our next guest. She is an actress, singer, and an artist whose credits include The Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat, Mona the Vampire, and The Legend of Prince Valiant. Today, she joins us as the voice of Belle in Beauty and the Beast. Please welcome Paige O'Hara.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Almost Happy New Year.
Indeed. How are you today?
I'm great, Patty. How are you?
I am good. There's a kinship between us. We are both South Floridians at heart. Although you're from Lauderdale, I'm from Coral Springs. Don't hold that against me. Absolutely. You have some spectacular art behind you. Is that your work?
Yes, this is one of mine right here, called Far Off Places. Can you see it now? My head is in the way. It's one of my top sellers. Thank you for mentioning it. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, absolutely. We're all about this way, too. And I've seen your art in action. And we have some images we may share again later. But truly a good eye and good composition. And very.
Thank you so much. I've actually been an artist longer than I've been a singer and actress. I started painting when I was 3 years old. There you go.
Absolutely outstanding. And speaking of artists, our next guest and royalty. She is an actress whose body of work includes Runaway Bride, Trinity, and Childhood's End. Today, she joins us as the speaking voice of Princess Jasmine and Aladdin. Please welcome Linda Larkin.
Yay.
Hi. Oh my gosh. So happy to be here.
Oh, it's so good to have you. How's your holiday season been?
It's been good. It's been quiet. We've stayed home and we didn't travel for the first time ever that I can ever remember. My family lives in Minnesota. My husband's family lives in Miami. So we have a South Florida connection as well. Awesome. To Patty and Paige. But this year we stayed in New York.
Absolutely fair. You have some really nice artwork behind you. Where did you acquire that?
This was a gift to me from Miss Paige O'Hara at the 2019. Was it 2019 D23?
No, that's crazy.
Was that just a year ago?
It was a year ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Crazy.
It's
a blur. It's a blur.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of started out so, well, Richmond was a great show. We'll see you at the next one. And but
right. Mm-hmm. Did you say Richmond?
Richmond, yeah, the Richmond show.
Richmond was the last show. It was the last weekend of February.
It was our last GalaxyCon show, and there were several other shows, and the conventions are on hold. And we absolutely look forward to the day when the world unspools itself, gets a little bit back to normal. And absolutely, we look forward to having you back on our stages and getting you back in front of your fans.
Mm-hmm.
But until that time, we have the GalaxyCon virtual stage, and again, technology has given us this awesome forum. Our team right now is going through the chat room, pulling out the questions. In the meantime, we just want to open up some stuff. But first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for what you've done and continue to do all these years. You were part of the Disney I won't say epoch, but a vital point in Disney where it was at its crossroads and it could have gone one direction, and all of you helped guide it into the direction that it is now. For both myself as a Disney actor for 13 years, thank you for saving the company back then so I could have employment. And most of all, thank you for all the smiles, thank you for enjoyment, and everything that you've done is a credit to you as actresses. So I thank you for your talents. I thank you for your professionalism, and I thank you for these performances.
Thank you, Patty.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And for the sake of our audience who may not know, I just love to hear how individually how these roles came to you. And if we go in chronological order, I think Jody, we would go with you first.
Well, you have to really remember this was a long, long time ago. I can make a long story very, very short. I was doing an ill-fated Broadway musical called Smile by Howard Ashman and Marvin Hamlish. They wrote a song for my character of Doria Hudson called Disneyland. And on opening night of our party at Studio 54 back in the day, they surprised me, and Mickey Mouse came out at opening night party and came up on stage and brought me up, and he gave me the keys to the kingdom to Disneyland. So I'm an honorary citizen of Disneyland for the rest of my life. So fast forward, the show closes tragically after 6 weeks, and Howard felt so badly for all the girls that he invited all 16 of us to audition for The Little Mermaid. Didn't know what we were doing. Went to the audition and I hit, I didn't know what I was doing at all. A good old fashioned reel to reel at a studio in New York City, and pressed record and play. And I just laid down like 5 lines. And then I had a cassette tape of Howard singing Part of Your World. So I imitated him and I did a little bit of that song. And then a year later, I got a call saying it was between myself and one of the other girls in Smile. And I was like, oh, that's really fun. That's great. And then some more time went by, and then I got a call that I had gotten it, but at that point, like a year and a half had gone by, and I kind of completely forgot about the audition. And so just, got a page on my little pager and with my roll of quarters in Manhattan, and went to a payphone, and my agent said, you got this thing? And I'm like, what's this thing? I literally had forgotten about it because I was just doing other stuff, and so that was my story, and started flying back and forth between New York and LA. And when I told people or my family what I was doing, they're like, well, are you in the movie? I'm like, no. Oh, it wasn't a good job back then. In '86, it wasn't a good job. Voiceover is what you did when your career was on the back half and you were tanking and, nothing good was happening. So I just stopped telling my family and friends about it. And they weren't ever going to announce who we were. They were just going to roll the credits at the end, just like they did for Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella. And you weren't going to be able to pick who the voices were because they wanted to focus on the film and not on the people that were actually doing the voices. So it was just a job. And I went back to do a Broadway show and, kind of forgot about it. So then they sent it out on a press tour. I went on a press tour, which I didn't really understand why I was doing that because we were supposed to be hidden. And then boom, the movie came out. So it was just, everything was a huge surprise. And that's what made it oh so special. So here we are 34 years later, we're chatting about it today. So obviously God had a whole other plan for my life than what I did. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the story.
All right. And for the case of our younger audience, a cassette tape was like a size of a phone that if you put it in a box, it would play music or spoken word. And there used to be these things called pay phones where you took a coin. And that's how you got to call somebody because you didn't have a mobile phone. Or if you did have one, it was the size of a cinder block. Okay. And
no mobile phones, none of that. So yeah.
None of that.
Back in the dark ages.
Indeed. And I often say that I think Oliver and Company kind of found the door. I think Little Mermaid opened it, and then Beauty and the Beast walked through. So, and Paige, we come to you.
Yeah, and actually because of your success, Jody, with Little Mermaid, I was actually really excited about Beauty and the Beast auditions because you guys had set the groundwork, and there again, Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, and I auditioned with 500 other actresses at least. I think it might have been a little more than that. And I remember auditioning, and then the little cassette tape in the room, it was like, oh my gosh, this is too crazy. But mine happened really quickly. It was in a matter of 2 weeks, and I auditioned times, and each audition there would be more and more people to the final audition. Even everyone was there, including Mr. Eisner and everybody. So it was crazy. And literally the final audition, I came home and I had a voicemail on my answering machine, and it was David Friedman, the conductor, saying, "Paige, we got to set keys for Beauty and the Beast." And I went, "Set keys? Oh my God, that means I got the job." I was like, my agent didn't know yet. So it was a really amazing experience. And it's we knew it was going to be a hit when we did the unfinished version for the New York critics, and they all stood up for 10 minutes. That's when we knew there's something really special here. So
absolutely, I know Michael Eisner, some people look at him a certain way, but I will always be one of his staunchest defenders, and I will just say he made a few mistakes at the end, but he did far more successes and more things right than his critics now sort of tend to unfairly lump upon him. So
yeah, well, you know what, with him and Jeffrey Katzenberg, they brought back the animated feature, and truthfully, we really owe it to Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, because they persuaded them to do Little Mermaid. I mean, they really persuaded, and actually Howard co-produced it. So think of that. Little Mermaid movie had never happened. All these films in the last 30 years wouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. And then we move on to Linda and Aladdin.
So when Aladdin was first auditioning, Beauty and the Beast wasn't out yet. So The Little Mermaid had come out, had been a huge hit, but we didn't know if that was like the beginning of a new trend or if that was just a singular one-off special Disney event. And we didn't know much about Beauty and the Beast yet. We, the general public, Disney knew what they were doing and they knew what they had, but it was, probably a year from coming out when I first auditioned for Aladdin. So if I had known the big job I was auditioning for, I think I would have been really nervous. And because it was a voiceover job, I wasn't really that nervous the first time I went in. I studied the sides in the car on the way to the audition. An actress friend of mine who was also auditioning picked me up because we were driving out to Glendale. So we carpooled, and she had a fax machine, which you might also explain for the audience. She had a fax machine, so she got the sides ahead of time. So she'd already read them the night before, but I read them in the car on the way there. And it was just me and Albert Tavares, the casting director, in a little sound booth. And I went in and I left, and I didn't hear anything for a month. And I too didn't think about it much because I didn't know really what it was that I was auditioning for. I had no idea. And even after the movies came out, I don't think any of us could have predicted that this would be the next 30 years of our lives. We just never could have known that. It was a different environment back then. It was just, you didn't know what was going to emerge from this renaissance in Disney history.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And for our audience, a fax machine was like an email machine, but you had to shove in thin strips of wood, sometimes called paper, and at the other end, it would spit out the wood, and you have to read it on the paper.
And don't try to save it because it disappears after a couple of years because it would just fade to nothing.
Yes, especially when we ran into the roll, it would kink up, and you have to. It was like a scroll.
Yeah.
Very much so. Well, ladies, our audience, Bruce, let me know we're already good to go on our audience questions. So let's go ahead and roll our first one. And this comes from Adrienne, and they would like to know: are there any traits that you learned from your Disney princess that you apply in your own lives? Paige, let's start with you.
Disney traits. Well, it's really strange because my hair was really long and a mess back then and in my face. and I would constantly, push the hair out of my face, and they incorporated that. Of course, the artists, they're so brilliant. They just take what you do and then they make it a reality. And that was the one that was that was kind of strange. And in terms of learning from her, there are a lot of things that would take about an hour to explain that I learned from Linda Wolverton, who wrote the screenplay. There's a lot of Linda as well. And that we'll talk about that more, hopefully, on my one-on-one.
Look forward to it. Jody, how about you?
The traits of Ariel that I think we kind of share the most are sort of a fiery personality, a little bit of stubbornness, but a real tenacious spirit. That's something that I've had my whole life. It's kind of what I was born with, I think, that there's not really a closed door. I'll just keep knocking on it until it kind of gives way a little bit. And so I think those are sort of the traits that Ariel and I share with each other. The trait that I feel like I learned from her is to stand up at all costs, even when it's upsetting to somebody else. And that's a hard one for me because I'm a bit of a people pleaser. I don't like to rock the boat. I don't like to upset people. But I think there's a way to speak truth with love so that you don't necessarily hurt somebody, but you also don't give way to what you believe is right for you. So that's a quality I definitely learned from Ariel.
Nice, very nice. And Linda, bring us home.
Well, Jasmine was all about love and standing up for what she believed in. And she was really courageous and brave and challenged the laws of the land. She challenged the beliefs that she was born into. And I really feel like for Jasmine, she was born into a certain environment and she broke free of it. And the movie really is that theme of freedom plays throughout the movie with every character. The genie wants to be free.
Oh, she's frozen.
No. Oh no, she froze. Come back.
Come back. There she is. All right. Okay.
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 So everyone panicked. I was like,
yeah. Going back to the genie to be free. And
yes, no, just freedom being a theme of that story for all of us. We were all trying to break free of the circumstances that we were trapped in. And this was something, for me, I grew up until I was 8 years old with a single mom in a large family in northern Minnesota in a very isolated place. And what my life became, the circumstances that I started with and how they changed over time and how I really leaned into doing the thing that wasn't maybe comfortable, that was a little riskier, but what would lead me by what I loved and where I wanted to expand my life and circumstances. That's where Jasmine and I really, we get each other. I got her because I understood what that was like to be trapped and to want to break free of it.
Yeah, you raised an interesting point because all three of your characters, they have a very interesting relationship with each of their fathers. And and it's sometimes it's easy to say like, oh well, all three of them are rebels, and I never looked at them like that. They're not rebels, they're not rebelling against sisters. They're just growing. They're growing into their own and the themes and all of them. And I've seen this through my best friend and then through my goddaughters as they've gotten older. It's all about, from the dad's perspective, all about you guide them, you protect them, and then you have to not let them go, but you have to let them be themselves. And all three of the dads go through that arc.
They what?
All three of the dads go through that arc themselves.
Right. What I was going to say as well, they really, as these characters expand, they expand the lives of everyone around them. As they grow, their fathers grow. Their fathers start to think of the world in a new way.
Absolutely. And again, that's why they're called family films, because it's not just centralized characters. Some of the other ancillary characters, the supporting characters, again, they have their arcs too, whether it's as simple as I don't want to get thrown in the steaming pot to we want to be human again and whatever. And this was the level that differentiated your era of Disney films. I think that's the biggest era, I think, from the classic Disney films, not to criticize them or any way, but they were focused on the one character getting to the end of that. And the dwarves kind of stayed the same. They didn't have a goal, but all the supporting characters in yours certainly did, which it's just enriched it. So, and Adriana, thank you. That was a wonderful question to start us off with. What do we have next? From Laura, what advice do you have to aspiring Disney princesses out there?
That's a tough one, huh? Jody, you go.
I go first. So, when all of us girls were together for D23, when it was the Ralph Breaks the Internet surprise preview, there was the theme that was going on at that point was Dream Big, Princess. And at first, when I heard that phrase, I was like, is that sort of cheesy? Like, like we were saying it for promos behind the scenes, and all of us girls were dancing and shooting these videos and saying fun things. But then, it's like I kind of got home and started thinking about that phrase, and I thought, I get that now. It's not just like a promotional phrase. And now I find myself using it, when I'm teaching, even virtually, if I'm coaching virtually, I'm saying to people, and I'm saying to our children, you do need to dream big. You do need to dream outside of the box. And I think growing up in Illinois in a small town, never having seen a show, never having been in a show, never having sung in front of people, and all of a sudden I have this thing like, hey, I think I'd like to find out what it would be like to sing, dance, and act on Broadway. I mean, it's like, where did that come from? Never seen anything or heard anything about it. I had like an LP of a chorus line, and that was it. An LP is a big big record. People don't know what an LP is, but
a big wax disc that makes noise.
A waxy disc that we find. But I thought, you know what? I was dreaming big in Rockford, Illinois, and nobody taught me how to do that. It was just something inside of me. So that's something that I do want to encourage young people, especially now in 2020 and crazy times that we live in. We do still have to have our dreams. We do still have to cling on to some type of hope for the future. And so that's something that I would like to encourage people to do. So it's okay to dream big. It's good. It's good. We have to have that.
Absolutely. So, Paige, how about you?
Well, I like Jody. I actually was exposed to the theater when I was really young. I started going to acting class when I was a little girl, and my mother taught Shakespeare. But she also had great taste in music, and I would sing with Judy Garland, and she bought all the show albums. So I knew from the time I was 5 years old that I wanted to sing and act on Broadway. And at 17, I graduated high school early. I went to New York. My mom and my father were a little petrified about that idea, but I was determined, and that was my dream. But it was something I had my whole life. I think in some ways I was very lucky that I knew from a very young age what I wanted and started working towards that with my voice and my acting from when I was little. But I think if you would want my advice on a Disney princess, you just got to do the homework. You need to be your best as a singer, as an actor, dancer, whatever. But predominantly, you need to really hone on your skills as an actress and a singer, and then when the time comes, you'll be prepared when you have that audition. It's really about being prepared and being there, of course, being at the right place at the right time. But if you're not prepared, then you could go, oh my gosh, what did I do? I blew it, and you don't ever want that to be the case. You want to be able to go out there, audition, and be your best that you can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And Linda, bring us home.
Yes, expanding on that, I think working hard at whatever you do, it spills over into new things you discover along the way. So as a very little girl, I would my Disney storybooks that were little records, read-along storybooks, I would practice all day long doing the voices of the characters in my read-along storybooks. I didn't know why. It was just something that I loved and I would do along with them. Then as I got a little bit older, I started dancing and I worked really, really hard at dancing. I loved it. It was something I did 7 days a week, 365 days a year. My friends would go to the beach in the summer. I would stay home and put on my toe shoes and put on music and practice. And when I started acting, I applied that same discipline to my acting. So I brought all of that hard work into this opportunity that came up out of the blue to audition for a Disney princess. So I think whatever you're working on in the moment, apply that work ethic to it. And if you have an opportunity to do something new, exciting, challenging, if you apply that same work ethic, you have an opportunity to really make an impact.
Disney princesses are not born into it; they must work towards it. Which is a dichotomy on the definition, traditional definition of royalty. But there you go. And Laura, good luck in your quest. What do we have next? From GD, what was it like to come back in Wreck-It Ralph 2 with all the other princesses? Which broke the internet for that day. So, Laura, Linda, how about you?
That was such a huge surprise for all of us. It was really like, it was just one surprise after the other. The first call saying that they were bringing us all back for the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, we get to reprise our characters in a Disney animated feature. We didn't think that was in the cards at all. I know I didn't. It was a total shock. I love that picture. And then when
I'm taking a picture of the picture.
it's so great. It's so great. And then in 2017, when they brought us to D23 to surprise everyone, to present this scene to all of the D23 attendees, first of all, we got to be with each other, which we'd only gotten to do a little bit at these live events at Comic-Cons. This was the first time we really got to come together for a Disney event, because we'd all been in our own worlds and we took turns having our films released, having them be promoted, and we never got to do it at the same time. When they brought all of us on stage one at a time, the collective effervescence in that room for all of us was just beyond what anyone would expect. It was incredible. It really, I remember feeling so overwhelmed and so grateful to be a part of this really special group of distinguished young women, and we were really grateful to be going through it together.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Jody, how about you?
Well, it was a magical day. I was just beside myself. I truly felt like I just couldn't contain myself the whole day. And it was very emotional, very emotional, just to look around and realize this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and that we're all gathered here together. And I was the oldest princess there, as far as with Ariel, because we have Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Cinderella, but then it's Ariel, so it's like walking out on stage and then watching each girl come out afterwards and looking at this long line, and of course it ending with Paige, and we've been friends for over 40 years, and so to look down the line and see me at the front and Paige at the end and all of these magical women in between, it was mind-blowing. I was just trying not to cry the whole day, but I mean, I just felt like a kid just jumping around, and my family was with me, and that was super magical to have them there and have the kids kind of experience this and sort of see this longevity and the lineage and the legacy of these gals. It was a once in a lifetime that, you know, we'll never forget.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Paige, anything to add?
they put it perfectly. They said everything that I feel. So I'm going to say ditto to both of you. Emotional just keep talking about it, Jody. I don't know what's up with me. I'm getting like crazy right now. This is a weird time right now. But I just, I will never forget it. When they first called us to do the job, though, didn't we all think they were kidding? I mean, they've never allowed princesses to be in the same story before. I'm not allowed to paint the princesses on the same canvas through Disney Fine Art. It's all been very restricted. So it was really a wonderful surprise. And like Linda and Jody, it was just very emotional, you know, and and I'm the oldest of the girls that played the princesses. I'm actually older than Jody. Yes, I am. But
a couple of years.
But it was
just a number. It doesn't matter.
We defy it, don't we, girl? So
that's right.
And some of the girls, you know, that were some of the princesses are ones that I totally admired and never met before. You know,
Right.
You know, Kristen Bell and Mandy Moore. I mean, a bunch of them. I was just so thrilled. I was sort of starstruck, you know. So I was a fangirl that day as well.
But, you know, it was so interesting. There was a little bit of life imitating art backstage. So we were all getting ready in the green room. All of the voices of the princesses were doing the same things that in Wreck-It Ralph, the backstage princesses are doing. We were sharing dresses and accessories and, you know, picking each other's teeth for lipstick.
Wow.
Yes.
We were actually exchanging dresses. The funny thing is that there was this lovely Disney stylist who had, this rack of dresses. And so those of us that didn't have anything, we went into this trailer and we all started switching and swapping and trading and trying on. And we all ended up with ones that weren't supposed to be ours and ended up with somebody else's. And so it was really funny. I didn't think about that, life imitating art.
There are pictures of me, backstage pictures of me in the dress that Irene wore on stage.
Which was my dress. So Irene wore the dress that I was supposed to wear. But then when we got there, Irene's didn't really work for her. And I'm like, well, just take this one because I'll find something else on the rack. I don't care. And so that's kind of how it all started.
It was like little girl dress up day. It was.
And we were like, oh, you look so cute in that. And they're like, oh, thank you.
It was really cool. And then we had Oli'i, who was 16 at the time. I believe her movie had just come out. And she was so organized and she was so on point. We were all like, oh, she's really, we were going to line us up for a picture. And we were all kind of like, didn't know where to go. And Oli'i was like, why don't we all stand the way they had us on stage? And we were like, great. I know who's on my left. I know who's on my right. Lined up perfectly for a picture. I was like, this girl's a pro.
I did the Annie Awards with her. We presented Best Picture, and we both had our lines changed at the last second. She was right on top of it. She's just totally professional and so mature for her age. I'm a huge fan of Ali'i. She's adorable.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Very, very proud of your youngest sister, right then.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Jeannie, that was a wonderful question. Thank you so much. And a reminder to our audience, if you would like to chat with our princesses like I am now or purchase a personalized autograph, please sign up at GalaxyCon.com and let's go ahead and roll another one. And this comes from Patty. What? And they would like to know which Disney princess outfit is your favorite. Not counting the ones you wore on stage. We're talking.
Okay, Jasmine.
Okay, I'm going to say a Jasmine outfit, but it's not Jasmine's main outfit. I love Jasmine's red outfit. So she's got a really, really cool red two-piece, and I love that one. And sometimes a fan will bring a picture of that for me to sign. I don't see it very often. And then occasionally I'll see a pop in the red outfit.
Ooh,
And
pretty.
I love them. That's my favorite Jasmine outfit.
Yeah.
Nice. How about you, Jody?
Well, for Ariel, it's going to be when she's a mermaid. You know, I do like all her human dresses. They're very pretty, but in my heart, you know, it's her as a mermaid. That's absolutely my favorite. And as far as another Disney princess costume, I really love Belle's final costume of Beauty and the Beast, the gold. And oh gosh, that's so pretty. Love that. When I see that at Walt Disney World, I always want to get my picture taken with the gold outfit on. So pretty.
Aw. Well, I think my favorite Belle dress is the pink one with the burgundy cape. Because I think I'm just partial to that because I love the scene so much. The something there playing in the snow and the cape, and you know. In terms of other princesses, though, I don't know. I'm pretty partial. I love painting Cinderella's ball gown. That's really, it's really fun to paint. It's really detailed for back then. I mean, considering they have to do so much in the film, all the little details in the dress. Now that I'm an artist and I'm painting it,
really, like how many shades of blue? I mean,
I know
alone
multiple shades of it. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
So I think that's not one of my other favorites. I love it.
Very well. I like all the princess outfits. That's I'm the moderator. It's my job to be in the middle. And Patty, thank you. That was a great question. And what do we have next? From Anonymous. What was the first Disney movie you remember watching?
Oh, that's easy. Yes. Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins. Oh my gosh. It's still my favorite film of all time. And I got to spend the weekend hanging out with Julie Andrews at one point. That was like the most amazing weekend of my life. But yes, Mary Poppins is the reason I went into show business. I was a little kid, and it's still my favorite movie. How about you?
Beautiful. Mine's Cinderella. Grew up with Cinderella. Loved the story. Loved the costumes. Loved the music. It was the first time I saw it was the Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday night with Walt in. I think it was even in black. Was it in black and white? No, it must have been in color. Yeah, Wonderful World of Disney. I love Cinderella.
The wonderful world of color. Back again. For those who don't know, that was a big deal. TV sets were black and white, and Walt Disney was the first one. We're just going to show stuff in color if you have a color TV.
Yep.
What about you, Linda?
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you said that about the Disney Sunday night show, because I remember my first animated film being Snow White, but I was like, how would I have seen Snow White? And it was probably on TV.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was the one that I remember being my first and favorite as a little girl. I loved the story. I loved all the animals. I loved the dwarfs and Snow White and just her kindness and everything. I was captivated. That was a magical movie for me.
Absolutely. Anonymous, thank you. Wonderful question. What do we have next? And it's one from Adriana. What were some of your mentors growing up? Any takers, or should I call it somebody?
My mother. My mother was my mentor. She was a brilliant director and teacher and very colorful. Those of you who know the story of Auntie Mame, my mother was sort of Auntie Mame. Very bright, very beautiful, very colorful, and extremely smart. And she encouraged me. She also was very honest with me when I wasn't good enough or wasn't trying hard enough. She would push me, and I'm glad she did. My mom, Joyce Hall, ran a performing arts high school in Fort Lauderdale with Alan Hill, and Alan Hill's still one of my best friends. And I'm very grateful for what my mother did for me. I miss her every day, but I think of her every day. So she was the number one mentor for me. How about you, Jody? What do you think?
I think my sister kind of taught me how to sing and play the guitar when I was like 9. And we used to play the guitar at church together. She's 6 years older than I am. And that was just such a wonderful, wonderful memory of just sitting on the floor in the living room playing our little guitars together and creating little harmonies and stuff when I didn't know what I was doing. And just always so encouraging. Yeah. Just great memories.
Fair. And Linda, bring us home.
For me, it was my mom, my grandma, and my dance teacher. These were the three women who had a huge impact in my life. All three of them, my mom and my dance teacher, business women. My grandma was a bartender for 42 years. My grandma worked so hard. My mom worked so hard. My dance teacher worked so hard, and they all inspired me to have that work ethic. And they were all very serious about what they did. And I am a very whimsical person that is very serious about what I do. So I may seem like I don't take things seriously, but I really do. And I am deeply passionate about my friends, my family, my work. And I really feel like I got that from three very important women in my life.
Very nice. Adrienne, thank you. Wonderful question. I think we're time for one, maybe two more. Let's see what we can get through. What's our next one? From Sydney. What are your resolutions for 2021?
Wow. I mean, I've learned not to plan anything because it all turns out differently than I thought. I would say to learn from this year and to really go forward with peace and positivity, and just to stay healthy and safe and really enjoy every day. Every day that we have.
Yeah, so true. You know, for me, it's this past year has made me realize how important my family and my friends are, and not being able to see them has been really difficult for me. I find myself getting so sad sometimes, and just I think this year coming up, we're all going to have vaccines. When we have our vaccines, I want to spend more time with my family and my friends. That's my resolution. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very good.
I echo everything you guys are saying. It's been hard to not see family. You know, my mom is 90, and to not have Christmas with her and the kids was so painful, you know, to FaceTime. But again, I think what we've learned as a family this year is to savor every moment, enjoy every moment, find daily joy and laughter. We play games almost every day and find a way to laugh, because joy and laughter are great healing medicine for me. Really a lot of healing. And I think learning to have joy in spite of our circumstances, not necessarily, it hasn't been a joyful year by any means, but I think what we've tried to do as a family is to find the joy in spite of everything that's going on. So I agree with Paige. The first thing that I would like to do, and whenever I'm in line for the vaccine, is I'd like to see my mom. I'd like to see my family. Yeah, that's hard. That's really hard. And, you know, I'm grateful for this technology. This is a gift, and I'm grateful that we have it, but it's going to be really wonderful when we can actually touch people.
I haven't hugged my mom in a year, and I absolutely.
Same.
I mean, I'll talk to her on this, talk to her about that, but
No.
Yeah, it's not the same.
We kiss the camera, you know, we all lean in and do that as best we can, right? But here's to a new year. Here's to January. Woo! So excited.
The healing year.
Absolutely. Cindy, thank you. Wonderful question. My resolution for 2021 is to lose the quarantine weight I gained in 2020.
Well, yes.
And GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with the princesses of Disney. Ladies, I have so enjoyed being the court jester to your royal presence. Any final words for our audience before we go?
Just a happy new year, healthy new year. Love your family, love your friends, and it's going to be a lot better this year. I know it. I know it in my heart.
Yeah. We all need to hang in there. We need to love one another, think about one another. We need to mask up, keep our distance, take care of each other, and we're going to have a great 2021. So I'll be praying for everyone, and God bless you guys.
And I just want to thank everybody for being here. I heard we have over 1,000 people with us right now, and I feel it. I feel the energy of all the people who showed up to share this moment with us. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. That's what Patty, we got to smile for a camera. We got to smile for a picture.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Who's going to take our picture for us? Casey?
I'll do a screen cap.
Yay. Okay.
And we've got it. Ladies, I have so enjoyed us. Thank you for joining us again here at the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us today. Thank you for all your great questions. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and please keep washing those hands.
Thanks, Patty.